So let's continue. He said, hold on to the Constitution, to the republic for which it stands. He said, miracles don't cluster. They don't happen every day. He said, what has happened once in 6,000 years may not happen again. Hold on to the Constitution, for if the American Constitution should fail, there will be anarchy throughout the world.
So I want to chime in on that. When he says miracles do not cluster, what he's really talking about is look at how many miracles came together for this Constitution to be brought to light.
That's exactly right, dude.
He's talking about this country should not have become a country.
Not the way they were
we were outnumbered, 20-1?
Dude, in a lot of the wars, yes.
Strongest military in the world
right.
at that time. And we defeated them as a ragtag group of 13 colonies. And if you look at all the miracles, which we've got in the DVD, we've got a couple examples of the miracles.
That, man. Good for
Boom,
you. Nice
gotcha.
plug. That's called A Call to Christians. Go on theselfevidenttruth.com. You can pick one up on there.
Yep. So when you look at these miracles, you look at it and you go, wow, something's different about how this country came to be.
That's right.
So what he's saying is these miracles clustered. This doesn't happen. So hold on to this. This was something special that God gave us for a reason.
Absolutely, man. That's the point. And so to segue into that, this is Daniel Webster. He's one of our founding fathers. This guy was around at that time. He knew what he was talking about. A lot of the founders knew what they were talking about. So I got a picture right here, and I'll put it up there. I'll have to give you the slides so you can put these up.
Sounds good.
But the Great Seal, the Great Seal of Ohio, it's actually a bunch of sheaves in a field, it looks like a railroad. And underneath the seal at the Capitol building, it says, "With God, all things are possible." Where in the heck do you think they got that from? An atheist book? What God were they talking about? Let's continue. You can answer that on your own. Do you know what the Washington Monument has several things inscripted, and this is some of the stuff that has inscripted on the Washington Monument. Holiness to the Lord. Exodus 28:26 is all in there. Exodus 28:26, Exodus 30:30, Isaiah 23:18, and Zechariah 14:20. Search the scriptures. That's John 5. The memory of the just is blessed. That's in Proverbs 10. May heaven to this union continue its beneficence. May heaven. Why are they saying that if they were atheists, right? In God we trust is in the Washington Monument.
And notice they're picking out Bible verses. So a lot of people will say, oh, well, they just mean a general creator. They'll argue, oh, they just mean a general God. If they truly meant a general God, they would not be picking out Bible verses.
Bingo, right? No, you're right. You're right.
Because if they were talking about even just the God of the Abrahamic faiths, why not include verses or surahs from the Quran? Why wouldn't you?
Or why wouldn't you just say what, like, let's be honest here, a lot of the Indian tribes, they believe in the what do they call it?
The Great Spirit.
The Great Spirit, yeah. And they have a 10 commandments of their own, like a commandment system, which is pretty similar to the God of heaven.
Kind of interesting.
As I say, it shouldn't say that there's other gods. It should say that there's a true God who gave them morals. Yeah. That he said he wrote the tablet of the law in our hearts.
Absolutely.
That he gave it to them. It makes sense, right? The last thing that's on the capstone of the Washington Monument, it's praise be to God inscribed in Latin.
Amen. Right?
Let's continue. Again, Daniel Webster said this. This dude was amazing. He said that the Bible, I'm sorry, I'm pulling it up now. It says the Bible is a book of faith and a book of doctrine and a book of morals and a book of religion and of special revelation from God, but it is also a book which teaches man his own individual responsibility. Notice this, individual responsibility, his own dignity, his equality with his fellow men.
Notice he said a book of revelation.
That's right.
That's not just a book of wisdom. That's a book of spiritual authority.
Yes.
Revelation from God.
Which proves that he himself, like you could say the founders were deists. That doesn't say that.
And I was going to point that out is if they were deists, why bother arguing for the favor of the Creator?
That's right.
Because deists believe God wound up the clock, step back. Well, you're in charge then. You don't
need
God
him
does
to
you don't
intervene.
Need him.
Yeah.
You don't need him.
There's
he
no
has no
divine
authority.
providence. Yeah.
There's no divine providence. It's just you're on your own. That's deism. These guys were not deists. They're talking about the influence of the Creator. They're talking about the influence of God on daily events in life. That means he's involved. That's much more than a deist.
That's exactly right, dude. So this is where we got to continue on to what did they really believe? Well, first off, the founders believe three tenets. One, God's real. There's this creator thing called God, right?
Otherwise, why reference it?
That's exactly right. The second thing is God gives us rights. God, the creator, gives us rights. The third thing they believed was that government is only instituted among men to secure those rights, not to play God. What Paul said last week was, if God isn't the one even forcing you to be good, why should a government? It's not their job. It's not their position. They're overstepping their bounds, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
And that's what's happening now.